CJ2K.
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 Speed! What an effort by Chris Johnson!
Do you know who's referred to as one of the fastest players to ever grace an NFL field? His name is Chris Johnson. His blazing speed and ability to break off game-changing plays turned him into a household name. From his humble beginnings in Orlando to his record-breaking moments in the NFL, Johnson's career is filled with highlights that made fans jump out of their seats. But how did he rise from being an overlooked prospect to becoming CJ2K? And what made his 2009 season one of the greatest in football history? Well, buckle up as we take you through the career of the fastest running back ever. Chris Johnson was born in Orlando, Florida on September 23, 1985. From a young age, it was clear that Johnson had a natural gift for speed. Growing up in a family that supported his athletic ambitions, he gravitated quickly towards sports, excelling in both football and track. Undeniably, his speed was his defining attribute even as a child, and he carried that reputation with him when he began attending Olympia High School in Orlando. At Olympia High, his athletic abilities began to shine. He was a running back on the football field, where he was renowned for his lightning-fast reflexes and easy outrunning of opponents. Not only was he naturally gifted, but he also developed his speed through years of practice and devotion to his art. He improved his speed even more as a track athlete and rose to the top of the state's sprinting rankings. Many were impressed by his 100 and 200 meter runs, but his true passion was football, where he felt his speed might have a long-lasting effect. But even with his obvious potential, Johnson had trouble getting big college football programs to take notice. Many college scouts thought that he was small at 5'11" and about 195 pounds, questioning if he could withstand the physical demands of college football. But his ability to run gave him an advantage. Some recruiters didn't notice him at first, but many started to pay attention as he kept breaking lengthy runs and setting records in track events. Eventually, East Carolina University offered Johnson a scholarship because of his unwavering work ethic and obvious potential. Even though he didn't get the same attention as many other elite recruits, his self-belief and tenacity prepared him for an incredible college career and his ultimate rise to NFL fame.
When I went to the Hawaii Bowl, ECU wasn't as much on the map as it is now, so basically it was like a make or break game, and I feel like that was one of the games that helped me get to where I'm at today with a lot of exposure around the country.
Now, Johnson didn't become a star right away, but his versatility and quickness made him an invaluable asset whether he was used as a returner, receiver, or runner. His promise was noticed by coaches, and he progressively gained more playing time.
But he remembers watching a seemingly uneventful combine, and then this guy just ran what?
His progress at ECU was consistent. His contribution to the squad increased over the next seasons, and he gained notoriety for breaking huge plays. He had established himself as a dependable offensive weapon by his junior year, but things didn't come together until his senior year in 2007. Then he enjoyed a breakthrough season that year that made him well known across the country. With an incredible 2,960 all-purpose yards, he broke the school records. His ability to play several positions, including running back, receiver, and kick returner, was evident. He now had a lot of highlight reel moments throughout his final year. In addition to gaining over 1,000 yards on kick returns, he also gained over 1,400 rushing yards and almost 500 passing yards. So, indefinitely, he became one of the most dangerous and adaptable players in college football as a result of his success. One of his greatest moments being that 2007 Hawaii Bowl performance where Johnson put on a show totaling 408 all-purpose yards and guiding his team to victory. He was so good that he was named MVP that year. He demonstrated at the end of his undergraduate career that he was a complete player and not simply a quick player. After setting a record in his last season, the running back from Orlando gained attention in the NFL and was considered one of the best prospects for the 2008 NFL Draft. Interestingly, the 2008 NFL Combine was a pivotal moment in Chris Johnson's career, and it forever changed how the football world viewed him. Johnson was seen as a promising prospect going into the Combine because of his speed and adaptability. But still, there were concerns about how effectively his skills would transfer to the NFL. Many scouts had doubts about his size and durability, and he wasn't considered a first-round certainty. But everything changed as he stepped onto the field for the 40-yard race. His combine performance went down in history. Johnson lined up for the 40-yard sprint in front of scouts, coaches, and general managers from every NFL team. The timer registered 4.24 seconds as he broke free from his stance and crossed the finish line, setting a new record for the quickest 40-yard sprint ever made at the NFL Combine. This was a momentous occasion that cannot be emphasized enough. You see, one of the most important qualities in football is speed, and Johnson had just shown that he possessed it in previously unheard-of quantities. In addition to breaking the record, his 40-yard sprint solidified his position as the draft's quickest athlete. After that, his draft view was entirely changed from that performance. He was now viewed as a second or third-round choice before the tournament. Every team in the league was intrigued by his lightning-fast pace. With no time left, scouts started to reassess his whole game after seeing how exceptional a prospect he was due to his blend of quickness, vision, and adaptability. Day by day, Johnson kept getting more and more attention on selection boards as the 2008 NFL selection drew near. With the 24th overall choice in the first round, the Tennessee Titans chose to take a risk on him on draft day.
With the 24th pick in the 2008 NFL Draft, Tennessee Titans select Chris Johnson, running back, East Carolina.
The Titans were positive that Johnson's quickness and adaptability to create plays would be a benefit to their offense, even if other teams were still skeptical about his long-term durability. The fact that the Titans chose him in the first round demonstrated their appreciation for the exceptional running back from East Carolina and bolstered Johnson's confidence in his own abilities. For Chris Johnson, being selected in the first round signaled the start of an exciting new journey. When he joined the Tennessee Titans in 2008 for the first time, he had an instant effect. The Titans knew they had something unique in their first-round draft choice the instant he took the field. Johnson quickly established his legitimacy in the league after demonstrating his remarkable speed, which had dazzled everyone at the NFL Combine, translated to the professional level. He literally displayed the abilities that characterized his career in his very first game. He showed off his flexibility as a receiver and runner by adding 34 receiving yards, 93 rushing yards, and a touchdown on 15 carries. Throughout the season, Johnson became a vital part of Tennessee's game plan, complementing veteran running back LenDale White in a potent 1-2 punch backfield. His ability to break long runs and make defenders miss in the open field gave the Titans an edge that few other teams had. By the end of his first year, he averaged 4.9 yards per carry while rushing for 1,228 yards on 251 carries. He added 9 touchdowns on the ground and 1 through the air while grabbing 43 passes for 260 yards. His influence went beyond the stat sheet because he gave the Titans' whole offense opportunities by spreading the field and keeping opposing teams off balance. His contributions were a major factor in the team's 13-3 regular season record, which tied for the best in the NFL that year. Tennessee's success in 2008 was largely built on a strong running game, and Johnson's explosive playmaking ability was a key reason for their dominance. Undeniably, his debut season was really impressive. Johnson flourished in a league where rookies sometimes find it difficult to adapt to the speed and intricacy of the game. He had become one of the league's most exciting young players very fast, laying the groundwork for an NFL career that would go on to become famous. One of the most memorable seasons in NFL history is Chris Johnson's 2009 campaign. He achieved something that very few running backs have ever done in just his second season in the league. He rushed for over 2,000 yards, becoming just the 6th player in history to do it. He finished the season with 2,006 rushing yards, but it wasn't the whole story. In addition, he also set the NFL record for the most yards from scrimmage in a single season with a staggering 2,509 yards, combining his rushing and receiving totals. There were several incredible plays and game-changing moments during the season. One of the highlights was when Johnson broke out for one of his career's biggest touchdown runs, 91 yards, during a Week 2 game against the Houston Texans.
These are the kind of things a young defense does before it gets great.
He finished with 284 total yards and 3 touchdowns in that same game. During the performance, he demonstrated his exceptional speed and adaptability, which allowed him to dominate the game. Week after week, he was the most dangerous player on the field due to his lightning-fast speed and ability to avoid opponents. Throughout the season, he broke off several lengthy runs that left defenders gasping for air. He was given the moniker CJ2K, which alludes to his exceptional speed and 2,000-yard season because of his capacity to shift into a second gear once he got into the open field. He didn't stop there, though. Chris Johnson broke records in 2009 and maintained that performance level from 2010 to 2013, establishing himself as one of the NFL's most reliable running backs. In 2011, Johnson became one of the highest-paid running backs in NFL history when he inked a 4-year, $53.5 million contract deal with the Tennessee Titans. And well, he deserved it, as he demonstrated he was worth the investment, despite some doubts about whether a running back could sustain top output for so long. After a while, he adjusted even as the NFL changed to become a more quarterback-driven league. He was still one of the few running backs who could run a lot, catch passes out of the backfield, and keep up his remarkable quickness. Over the years, his ability to consistently transform any play into a game-changing one cemented his reputation as one of the league's most dependable players. But in 2014, he decided to unfold another chapter in his life. Chris Johnson signed a contract with the New York Jets in 2014 to begin the next chapter of his career following 6 extremely successful seasons with the Tennessee Titans. He was no longer the lead back for the Jets, but he was still a valuable, experienced presence in the backfield. Even if it wasn't at its best, his pace was still dangerous, and he shared carries with other backs to complete the season with over 660 rushing yards. He went through a transitional phase in New York as he got used to not being the center of attention for an offense. He then joined the Arizona Cardinals the next season in 2015, and he embraced his position as a player who could contribute and mentor younger players. However, he struggled with injuries, but showed signs of recovery, amassing 814 rushing yards in just 11 games before a fractured tibia ended his season early. His presence in the locker room and on the field helped the Cardinals make a deep playoff run that year. He then played 2 more seasons with the Cardinals in a more limited capacity before retiring in 2017. His retirement signaled the end of a 10-year career filled with great success. He irrevocably transformed the NFL throughout that 10-year period with his lightning-fast reflexes and steady output. His retirement ended one of the most thrilling NFL careers ever.